This is Comic Picks by the Glick.
Hey, I'm your host, Jason Glick.
Hey, Jason. So, what is on tap for you to review today?
Okay, well, actually, what we're talking about is the third volumes of both Transformers and Void Rivals, because
Woohoo!
we've been talking about these entries in the Energon universe up to this point, because we've both got stakes in these titles of gaming, like we both you're definitely a more of a diehard Transformers fan than I am. I grew up with Transformers. I like them, but I like the fact that Daniel Warren Johnson is writing the Transformers series, and the fact that Robert Kirkman is the guy who got everything together to talk about to set up this whole universe in the first place with Void Rivals, and we've been doing individual podcasts for each of these titles up to this point because hey, Volumes 3 just arrived at the same time, so hey, two birds, one stone right here.
Yep.
And yeah. So starting things off with Void Rivals on Volume 3, The Key to Vector Theta, which wow, its very first pages, basically set implied that hey, this has been a very Transformers centric series that derived a lot of its lore from that franchise. Well, it turns out that now we get we're now getting the G.I. Joe side of things, from the jump here, because we get some dude with with an eye patch and a snake body, just haranguing this one girl, telling her she's failed and you've done everything wrong, and then have her only to wake up and find out that, oh wow, it's she's in this spaceship that's heading out into space to track down these Cybertronians, which I looked at it go, oh, okay, well, this is from the G.I. Joe side of things, and now we're finally getting that into Void Rivals, which okay, fine. I know this is G.I. Joe business and all, and yeah, this continues on through the volume, as these Cobra Warriors also continue to track down the Transformers, and eventually eventually get their hand find out about the Quintessons, and also poor Skuxoid and his and his fate at their hands. I look at this and think, okay, this is all G.I. Joe business, and maybe I should pick up some of the G.I. Joe stuff that has come from the Energon universe. Ideally, once Amazon does one of their buy two get one free sales probably around Prime Day. So hey, maybe you'll see that in a future podcast. But for right now, it's I was just kind of surprised and maybe a bit confused by seeing all this Cobra stuff here. John, you got any thoughts about any of this right here?
Yeah. So, this. Do you know? I mean, honestly, do you know where this Cobra stuff comes from?
I think the Cobra La 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 stuff comes from the G.I. Joe movie, because I saw the Nostalgia
Yeah.
Critics review on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is the one where, and I have to say, I don't know among those hardcore GI Joe fans, which I'm not, how it's how this movie is seen. I think that there's some mixed reactions about it. Regardless, to see these here, and it's this is where Cobra Commander comes from. And I was, by the way, when I was reading this, I was like, that's right. Only Cobra Commander, overemphasizes his S sounds. So the, you know, like, like snakes, like that kind of a thing. Yeah, I think I remember seeing that movie, and that's the one where these are the guys who turn him into a snake. Cobra Commander there it is. So and I'm like, yeah, okay. And sometimes when I saw Skuxoid, I'm like, that dude looks like a snake. Is he related? Evidently they don't care.
Nope.
You know, because I
Yeah.
was like, oh, okay, hmm huh?
Yeah, but I have a feeling that like with Skuxoid out of the picture here, maybe we'll see his family pick things up
Hmm.
like later on, because like I mean if he is truly like gone from the series, and I don't think he is. Well, okay, if he really is, then I can just seeing him like wrapped up right, taken out right here without any like ceremony. I can imagine like Kirkman just wanting like having his like family show up and go like, wait, he's dead? Oh no, wait, we've got to secure vengeance for him. You know, he would be like a terrible father and provider for us. No, we've got to like secure vengeance because otherwise what was the whole point of like bringing him in here?
Yeah. So yeah, so my my surprise when they brought him in there was again kind of like, yeah, hey, so we're going here. Okay, yep, no holds barred. So let's continue with it and rest in peace. So, uh, uh, so yeah. Outside of that, yeah, no other comments on it outside of like, yeah, um,
Yeah, it's like everything else like here. It's like it's basically like focus on pushing the whole like it's like a Gorian and Zertonian like story forward. Like Derek makes his way back to his like to his dad, who was like the ruler of the like a Gorians, and again, Solila is like continuing to like follow her like her religious directive to just seek out like Zerta, like like the ruler, like the founder of like your of the ring. It's like, and like also like actually like Zerta Trion, the person who like the transformer who escaped from Cybertron, and like founded like the ring that is apparently like meant to keep all the like the Gorians and the Zertonians, like like away from each other. I like the fact that like this is like basically just like there's like a lot of forward momentum like in this one. It's like just all just pushing everything for like forward in terms of just hey it's like like every like all like the various subplots that we've like countered like from the previous volumes, like with Springer like and Hot Rod, like eventually like showing up and meeting here. It's like, but also just Derek, meeting with his dad, and then him telling him that no union between us is like bad. It's like you can't like if everyone comes together, then we're going to like Goliant will come back, and Goliant apparently seems to be like the big bad of the Energon universe so far. Like if I were a betting man, I would assume that whatever crossover we're going to have between Void Rivals and Transformers and GI Joe is going to be like about the coming of Goliant. You know, yeah, which is basically like established as like a big evil weapon that the Quintessons like created like in the Cybertronian War, and that like Zerta Trion eventually like was able to lead away and trap in this like in this black hole that's managed by the ring, by the Great Ring between the Agorians and the Zertonians, and that ideally it's like they're going to that once Goliant is like fully drained and tries to escape, they'll be able to destroy him. But it's like because they've told us like that's how it's going to go. It's like we know that's not how it's going to go, and basically like everything about this volume is just kind of like dedicated to like pushing that particular plot forward, just like advancing everyone's like individual storylines, like from Derek like to Solila. They get their own they get their storylines advanced, and like yeah, Springer and Hot Rod. It's nice to see them meet up and commiserate again. And also on Proximus, hey, he gets like he takes over like the Zertonian side of things. Good for him and all. But it's like if anything, like Volume 2 just kind of feels like hey, we're just like doing like a lot of setup here, but we're not doing a whole lot of payoff at this point. And also Derek's dad, the leader of the Agorians, just seems like like just like seems comically bent on just like no, it's like like unity is bad. It's like we can't have this, and just like he's just like just like really just like like kind of ridiculously like silly in his like opposition to like two things. I mean, I kind of get that hey, Kirkman is trying to like set up this as like a hey, he's like he's just like set in his ways and all, but it just seems kind of like silly to see his like antagonism play out in the course of this volume. I mean, it's like this wasn't like as like simplistic or just like as the first volume, but like this definitely felt like a volume where like okay, we're doing a lot of setup here, but if you want the payoff here, then hey, come back next time because hey, we're getting to the second year of things, and hey, you maybe get to the second year climax or anything. There hasn't been a big like crossover and Energon Universe crossover announced yet, so I can't say that like the Goal Alliance stuff is going to like pay off at that point, but hey, maybe we'll get something that like pays off on everything that's being set up here. So, like John, any thoughts about the like other like non Cobra stuff in this volume?
I think that well, it's I like the interaction of Hot Rod and Springer in this. I think that they add some color to this volume. But uh, if you're asking about um, the actual title of this volume, where you're talking about the key of Vector Theta.
Oh, is that a
Um,
Transformers thing?
it is.
Okay,
So
please do explain, sir.
so let me provide some insight here. So in the G1 cartoon, there is a episode called The Key to Vector Sigma.
Oh,
And the key, and so this is where they're pulling from this. And if you see in the center there, like in when I forget her name, but when she discovers Vector Theta,
Solila.
Solila discovers it. It asks, before, and it says this. It makes a statement: before the ring was, I was.
Yeah, before the Sacred Ring was, I was.
Who reactivates me? That's almost a word for word thing when they find Vector Sigma in that episode I'm talking about. Optimus Prime goes and searches him out, or actually, Megatron searches him out because it's the thing that provides Transformers their spark in their life. So it is the master computer. Vector Sigma, and then there's a key for Vector Sigma, and that key it's kind of it's kind of a one of a kind thing. Just depends on which reality you're kind of looking at. But we'll just say in this episode's plot that I'm talking about, what Megatron wants to do is he wants to create a bunch of Decepticon cars, and then the Autobots want to make a bunch of, that's right, airplanes. So, and that's when they come up with that's so in that episode, or it's really a two-part episode. That's where we find out that is the thing that gives Transformers life. So, in that episode, Megatron finds it first. He gets the key. He steals the key from Alpha Trion.
Of course he does.
Yes. So, and Alpha Trion's like he's our granddaddy bot or whatever. Oh, granddaddy bot, whatever. So he's um, you know, after Megatron, he takes the key and runs away. He goes back to Earth with his newly programmed badass evil cars. Um, and then he comes back, and then when Optimus Prime goes down there and he's built the jets, and he's like, you know what, well, we don't have anything. how are we going to program our robot? How are we going to program them, give them life sparks? And Alpha Trion says, I am actually a first generation product. I can interface with Vector Sigma. It costs him his life. He winds up merging with Vector Sigma. But anyway, so and it looks exactly the same as Vector Theta in this one, which is interesting because they're just going on the whole like Greek, like I think the Greek letters like theta, yeah. So theta, sigma, right? So those are just different. So now they're now in Void Rivals, they're now trying to set up a thing where like, okay, there may be multiple versions of vector, whatever it might be, and then they have a purpose. So it's very interesting to kind of see that interaction here. Probably one of the more surprising things, actually. I was like, oh, that is actually neat. Um, so that's kind of, I think that's one of the bigger takeaways, from this volume here, and the fact that, oh, well, there is one other thing to talk about, and have you talked about it yet? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. It's like for what?
Oh, like the second time they come around to Vector Theta.
Yeah, it's like when Zerto Trion basically says, "Hey, it's like you need to give like your power to Solila because I believe in her. She's my avatar here."
Yep.
Because Zerto Trion is like she's like half of what she was like here when Solila finally encounters her and gives her like the spiel about just what's up with Goliath and all, and now she's like basically like Solila is basically like supercharged, like in like after her encounter with Vector Theta. It's like, and then like she uses this to travel like to the throne room in like on the Agorian side. It just says, "Hey, it's like I'm here to like help with Unity and everything," and like Derek is basically just like going off what his dad has told him about why Unity is bad, and then the volume ends with his dad basically saying, "You've like breached like so many like laws coming here. It's like you need to die right now," which I'm sure is going to go well for everyone once we get to volume 4.
Indeed.
Yeah. So I mean, like it's like volume 3, like not bad, but just basic case of like hey, setting a lot of stuff up that
Yep.
will hopefully pay off for next time.
More world building, really, if you think about it. Just like kind of adding to this world. Having seeing another angle of like, oh, okay, so there was actually someone else besides Alpha Trion, right? There's another, and they've added to that lore as well. So that's kind
Yeah.
of it. I think it's interesting, based upon the insights I provided you from the G1 cartoon there. Well, that's kind of they're pulling from that, which is fine. That's cool.
Oh
Because
yeah, like I mean, like I said, I like having that stuff explained. Like it gives, I guess it gives like the impression that that they're drawing on something that's bigger than themselves right here.
Yep. Yeah, it's cool to see actually.
And also like the fact that I didn't feel lost when this thing was shown up here. I mean, like to hear you explain this to me as like, oh, this is actually part of the like G1 continuity. It's like, oh wow, it's like that's interesting, but it's like I didn't feel lost. Like before I had heard this. I mean, I know I was talking with you about my issues with the Gundam G-Quux beforehand, and like this isn't that right here. It's like I
Yeah.
liked, like I said, this is a good example of like how to introduce like old continuity here and not having to confuse the reader. So
Yep, exactly. I think they did a good job with it. It's
yeah,
not overly complicated, it's just there, right? So
indeed, yeah. So and on that note, hey, so Transformers Volume 3, Combiner Chaos, which this is unique in the sense that hey, this is like first Transformers volume got like 3 different artists. I mean, you've got Ryan Otley illustrating the Free Comic Book Day story about how Megatron escaped from Cobra's command, and like Zach Howard giving us like some insight into Starscream's backstory, and then regular artist Jorge Corona showing us what everyone's been up to since the events at the end of the previous volume. And in fact, much as like Void Rivals brought in the Cobra side of things for its third volume, we also get like a bunch of Cobra stuff here, both in the intro story like with Megatron, and in the 2-issue bit with Starscream. Because I look at what happened to Starscream there, and you think we're getting like like a new version of Starscream, next year from Hasbro, John?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, because
we're definitely getting a Bruticus. That's for sure.
Yeah, but like this two issues like bit was like this is like unique in the series so far, because like it really hasn't like stopped like focus on a specific Transformer for like this length of time, to the point where hey, he really it seems like writer Johnny Warren Johnson really wanted us to get a feeling that what Starscream was like before like the war on Cybertron just went completely to hell. And on one hand, it's like I appreciate that, but at the same time though, I don't quite think that he quite like communicates like Starscream's like it's like personality, like why he is like the way now more than anything else. I mean, okay, yeah, it's like apparently like Megatron has the ability to take over Transformers' minds while he's in gun mode, and apparently that's what we're supposed to like think that's what drove Starscream to like drive his like hatred of Megatron, like that we know in like the G1 era, at least in terms of what he's telling us here. I don't know. It's like I don't quite think that he gets like Starscream's like fury across here. It just kind of feels that just like that's so bad, Starscream. But in terms of just like how his personality like devolved into this it's like I am so evil and furious and just turn like make everyone think that I am right and all. It's like that didn't quite come across from you. I mean, actually, like I guess is there any basis for like Megatron's like mind control business in gun form?
No, none at all.
Okay.
I can tell you that straight up. Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, like, how did you feel for Starscream after reading this 2-issue story?
Some of it harkens back to like when Skyfire or Jetfire and him were friends, but it's a very interesting thing that I've not seen before, so I think it's interesting. That's the thing that I would say right now.
Okay, so basically, like it's fine, and like the GI Joe stuff, it's like it's like I mean, it's a nice way like bring things in. I admit, even if it's just like that one guy just like who was just like furious about it, like my dad was like a big shot, now I should be bigger than I am. Well, oops, it's like sucks to be that guy, but like seeing how like he keeps like that sketch artist around. I mean that was cute, and also seeing Astro Train. Like I had to like go back and reread the second volume to like remind myself that Astro Train just like has a complete mad on for Megatron, and is okay. So is this also like specific to this series, or is there like other is this also like part of the like established Transformers lore as well?
Say that one more time. Sorry.
Astro Train's hate of Megatron, because apparently he apparently thinks that Megatron is responsible for killing his the love of his life.
Yeah, no, this is also another point that I have no there's no obvious G1 references here. So no, unfortunately. That's new to me.
Okay. All right. So I guess we're gonna see where Johnson goes with that. And I hope that he picks that up in the next volume, because I don't know, I mean, it's like, yeah, it's like the whole business with Starscream and Megatron. That's tales old as time right here. But have someone else just like have another Decepticon have like serious beef with Megatron. I mean, I'm curious to see where he's going with that. And well, I hope that he finishes that up in the next volume for reasons I'll get into in a little while. But basically, this third volume, and yeah, it's called Combiner Chaos. But I think Decepticon Civil War would also be a good description for it as well, because after you get past the 2-issue bits with Starscream, which also sets up his status quo, following Soundwave kicking him into like the volcano at the end of at the beginning of the second volume. Well, now Starscream has basically managed to get the Constructicons, right? Or no, it's the Combaticons, right?
Combaticons, yes.
Yeah. Okay, the Combaticons and Astrotrain on his side. It's like, and he's basically like looking to get some payback. And while the Autobots are still trying to get their people back online, well, Soundwave is also trying to get excuse me, get it's like draw out the Autobots into open conflict as well, because even though they were able to stop Cybertron from merging with like Earth's orbit in the previous volume, well, it's like things are still going bad for for the good guys of the series, and Optimus Prime specifically, because after Spike's dad merged with his Matrix, like at the end of Volume 1, well, Prime is still just getting these visions of like human life and machine life merged together, and that's just giving him all these emotions and feelings that he doesn't know how to comprehend, and that's bad for the general conflict. But at the same time, though, it's actually kind of he gets a break here, because with Soundwave on one side of the conflict, and now Starscream having his own group of like Decepticons on his side, now they're they're just looking to fight. And like on one hand, people who suffer most in this volume are the humans, because like a Dan gets busted, and lots human, and that's no good for the humans. But also Seattle gets laid to waste. Space Needle gets screwed. It's like, and it basically just like all the humans are just basically squishies in the face of this Transformer conflict. Optimus Prime and the regular Autobots try to help these humans, but like they're either just not really capable of doing it, or they're just faced with the fact that humans look at them and think like, oh my god, like all these robots, like they're bad. It's like we can't trust them. So basically, this is kind of feels like one whole volume where the Autobots are on the back foot, and it's good that there's Decepticon Civil War going on here, because otherwise this is, if the Decepticons were on one side, then they'd just be totally screwed. Which is kind of what happens at the end of the volume, when Megatron finally makes his reappearance on the main stage, and well, you gotta think how things are gonna go for everyone next time. Maybe if they're lucky, some of the Autobots on Cybertron will be able to help them out, because even though it was revealed that things are going really, really bad for them on the on that front. Well, the death of Shockwave in the previous volume basically is helping them get they get a leg up in things going forward. And also we get the birth of a brand new Transformer, after Elita 1, and Wheeljack's efforts managed to give birth to a new Transformer, the very, very metal Shredhead, which I look at this guy and think having read a lot of Daniel Warren Johnson comics to this point, yeah, this definitely looks like a Transformer that he'd create, basically a van type Transformer with his own like Sword. It's like, dude, this guy's like, metal as hell, and the only thing that's missing from him is the dragon spray paint that should be spray painted on the side of his van form. So yeah, it's like I think that this is something that I know that this is like that the Transformers like are meant to sell like toys and all. So yeah, it's like I very much expect that we'll be seeing like a Shredhead at some point. Maybe not by Comic-Con, which is like a month or so. But hey, maybe we'll see what things have in store for next year, because I know that you've already told me that they're already doing Void Rivals stuff like on the Hasbro side of things, right, John?
Yeah, they do. They have a Comic-Con exclusive, which is Skyfire Jetfire with I forget their names. My apologies. But
Like Derek and Solila.
yeah, figures, like, so they come with articulate, like small figures to come with them, but they're articulated. So it's very cool. And then it has like the Void Rivals kind of comic book art on it. So very nice package. I don't need any of it, but I think it's cool. A side note on the whole Bruticus thing. Bruticus, there is a G1 episode called Starscream's Brigade.
Oh,
yeah. So basically, what happened in that episode, and this is how that ties in, and why Bruticus is loyal to Starscream, or at least partially. Starscream gets exiled after attempting to assassinate Megatron yet again, and then he finds some old military vehicles, refurbishes them, and then he makes the Constructicons. I'm sorry, the Combaticons out of them. So and so they are loyal to him barely. In that episode, it's actually a two-parter. But and then so he's basically the creator and father of them. However, what they really are is he winds up going to Cybertron this episode, and he goes to what they call the Cybertron detention center, where the sparks of these, or the souls, if you will, the Transformer souls of these are. He liberates them, and that's what he installs into the Combaticons, also, and Bruticus. So that is the reason why they're pulling upon those two things. And in this volume from Cheap Graphic Novels, I got the cover that has Bruticus and Starscream on it, because it was one of my favorite combiners, actually. So
oh, nice.
and I actually dig that, because I actually like the concept, and it was a two-part episode in the first in that G1 series, like, of Starscream raising up his own brigade, even though he's still kind of a whiny, mealy mouth kind of a leader. He kind of the way he gets their loyalty is he holds back a certain component from them, and so he kind of has their loyalty because of that. But in this volume here, what we're seeing is that they are just loyal to him, and that's pretty an interesting kind of slight change of concept there. So that's kind of my little addition to what we're seeing here with them.
Okay. Yeah, it's like, I mean, it's like I said, it's interesting to see like the Decepticon Civil War like here, and I like the fact that like the bad guys are like squabbling amongst themselves like for most of the volume, which basically like helps the fact that like a lot of the good guys just can't get their act together in order to like stop them. So like that, I guess I like seeing like struggle on both sides, and I think this one did a good job here. And also like along with a bit with like Ultra Magnus, like still suffering from robot PTSD and being captured as well by what I'm really willing to bet is like more of the GI Joe side of things. But I guess we'll see how that goes in subsequent volumes. But yeah, it's like I mean, like the business with like Ultra Magnus is interesting, and I kind of appreciate how Johnson was able to like juggle like lots of different like perspectives in this volume, like from like Prime and the Autobots struggle on Earth to the Decepticon Civil War to like to the business of Ultra Magnus, and also the Autobots and Cybertron stuff, and like not have it feel just like completely fragmented. I mean, considering that it's that kind of stuff is like basically 4 issues long, like after like the 2-issue bit with Starscream, it's really kind of impressive that he pulls it off that well, and also so like I'm curious to see like how he gets all this stuff to play out in the next volume, which is basically the end of his run. Because basically, sorry, I keep saying basically. Like, why am I saying that? Anyway, like Daniel Warren Johnson's like he's capping off his Transformers run with issue 24, and it's already been solicited in. It's like in the solicitations as being like featuring like the most shocking ending of a comic you'll see all year, which I've been reading comics for a good long while, so that's some strong words, man. But we'll see how that goes. And but even so, it's like what he's done here. It's like even if like this is like still like more set up like along the lines of what we saw with Void Rivals. It's like there's like I think that he may be able to like pull off something like impressive here, because we've like he's already like he did a good job with like showcasing like the return of Megatron, and just like saying like that's kind of like a real like shit gets real moment like here with the series. So now that you've got that, you got 6 issues to just show us how Megatron just makes life hell for the Autobots before like they're able to like swing the balance of power in the end. So, but even then though, it's like I think we'll still be I'm still continue to talk about Transformers after Johnson leaves, because Robert Kirkman is taking over Transformers with issue 25, and he's being joined by the phenomenal artistic talent of Dan Mora with that issue as well. Mora has done like great work with like starting with Grant Morrison's Santa Claus stories with Boom, but also with his his and Kieron Gillen's like adventure series like Once in Future, and a lot of stuff that he's done for for DC over the years, starting with like Batman and Superman World's Finest, and Justice League, and the ongoing Superman titles as well. So yeah, it's like, I mean, sucks that like DC is going to be getting less of this guy, but hey, all the better for Transformers in the end. But that being said, hey, I'm still looking forward to seeing what we get with like the next volume of Transformers, which would be Johnson's final volume. Any final thoughts from your end, John?
No, I agree with you on that. I think it'll be very interesting to see. It's been an interesting effort so far, and yeah, kind of some of these storylines bleeding into these other ones is kind of making me go, maybe I should read the other ones, but we'll see how that goes. I think right now I'm content with following these storylines. So
yeah, it's like, I guess, yeah, I'll let you know if I do wind up reading like the G.I. Joe stuff, to see if that's like worth your time as well. But like I said, it's gonna take like an Amazon sale for me to really get on board with that title.
yeah, yep. You know what you're going to be talking about next time?
Oh, well, it's like it'll either be a surprise to me, or I may just finally like pull the pin on this like series that I've had as a backup like for like several months now, and that, and we talking about Brian Michael Bendis's Fortune and Glory comics. Like, either be that, or it'll be a surprise to both of us.
All right. We'll catch you next time on Comic Picks with a Click.
Later's, everyone.